Coming to the end of my Latin American tour, I've spoken to lots of people here, guides, cops, members of the public, and in relation to the current situation in Ecuador, one theme keeps coming up: the dollarization of the currency. Back in January 2000, the Ecuadorian currency, which used to be called the sucre, was replaced with the US dollar. The sucre was actually named after the general, or one of the generals, who was responsible for liberating Ecuador from the Spanish back in 1824, which coincidentally is exactly 200 years ago. The anniversary is on the 9th of October. And dollarization has been cited as being one of the drivers that has assisted the Narcos, because it's obviously very easy to launder money. There's less need for currency transactions and conversions. So that's been partially blamed on the increase in narco activity. So in 2022, the big boss of the drug cartels over here was a chap called Leandro Narrero. And in April of that year, he was arrested at a multi-million-dollar apartment in Huacail. He was found to have $8 million in cash in his possession. So he was arrested and put in prison. Some months later, in the October of 2022, there was a riot at the prison in which he was being held. And it was reported that he was killed during that riot. However, no body was claimed by the relatives and there was no funeral. So the word on the Strasse over here, certainly some people believe that he's still alive and in fact pulling the strings from behind the scenes. One of Narrero's associates was a character called Salcedo, who was charged with embezzlement surrounding the COVID pandemic. The recent assassination of the prosecutor of Cesar Suarez in January was said to be because he was investigating the storming of the TV station on January the 9th, 2 days after Fito escaped. However, he was also involved in trying to extradite Salcedo. Narrero was known to have links with the former president, Rafael Carrier, who is now believed to be in Belgium. So the situation in Ecuador is a tangled web of unholy alliances and historic corruption. So Daniel Noboa, the new president, faces many challenges. One of the things he has done is designate that the Narcos be labelled as, or designated as, terrorists as opposed to common criminals, which makes it easier to deal with them more harshly. So this is one of the reasons that the state of emergency over here was able to be brought in, and you now have troops on the street, and you've got a curfew in Guayaquil between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. for the locals. While I've been here, I've found Ecuador as a country to be populated by friendly, welcoming people. Today, I went to City Hall, and outside were statues of General Sucre and Simon Bolivar, the two heroes that liberated Latin America from the Spanish back in the 1800s and got the independence. I wondered what they would be thinking about the current state of affairs. Were their sacrifices really made just to substitute the Spanish with the Narcos? Surely not. I've been travelling Latin America for a few weeks now. In the Amazon, I saw a tarantula in the wild. In Peru and Ecuador, one of the local delicacies that is served up in restaurants is guinea pig. It got me thinking about the whole situation here with the Narcos and the authorities. It can be summed up as tarantulas and guinea pigs. The question is, who is who? So, good luck to President Noboa and the people of Ecuador.